Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you're a Taurus and the other person is a Cancer, and how do you mesh together? If you're a Taurus, you're a fixed earth sign and you're very stable, and you crave that because that's something that is meaningful for you. And that's where sometimes it gets a little bit tricky because you may be attracted to somebody, and if they're not stable, this is going to create a lot of problems for you. And the relationship will likely not last because that's just something that will bother you. With a Cancer person, you're talking about a water sign. And water and earth signs are both feminine signs, and so they tend to be on the same page. And this means that, yes, they can be compatible. Now, obviously, not all water and earth signs are naturally going to get along. Even if you have two signs that are supposed to get along, it doesn't mean they will get along. But you're going to have a lot better chance with a Cancer. So what are the things that both of you have in common? You're both interested in commitment. Cancer rules the fourth house of home and family, and the Cancer person is naturally maternal, naturally nurturing, even if it's a man who's the Cancer and you're a female Taurus. That's going to be a man who is going to want to family, and chances are you will too. Now, the reason this is important is because bringing children into the world is a big deal, and the last thing you want to do is bring children into a world with somebody who is indifferent, is inconsistent. When you have a Cancer person, you know that they are going to take being a parent seriously, and they're going to be a thorough parent. They're not going to be a hit or miss parent or an inadequate parent. They really will value the family, value their role as the parent, and that is what you're looking for in a relationship. So usually a Taurus person is not just looking for a partner for themselves. They're looking to build on that. The fixed signs like Taurus are builders. So there's that sense of the continuity. And so, I do have to say, though, that all of us are individuals. So there might be some Taurians out there that don't want children and maybe don't even want to be legally married. There could be some out there. Yes, I'm talking to you with the moon in Aquarius. But in general, because I am generalizing in order to make this easier to do, in general, the Taurus and the Cancer individuals will want to have that kind of traditional lifestyle. And that brings me to another point. Just in general, I was talking about family, but you're both interested in commitment. Now, that you might say, well, that goes without saying, but it really doesn't go without saying, because there are some signs that want to have a good time when they are dealing with another person. They're not necessarily into just, having a permanent relationship, because to them, a permanent relationship is going to get boring. It's going to get too familiar, and it's going to be too confining. They're going to have to come home to the same person, and what fun is that, right? Well, for a Taurus person, the familiar isn't scary or unattractive. As a matter of fact, that is what you enjoy, is the like I said, when we're talking about building, it's like the building of a relationship through time, and that requires investment. And you can't mail it in. You have to actually spend time with that person, and over time, you make memories with them, and you have experiences. It's like kind of investing money in a bank account, and getting those dividends in the form of shared experience, that making a history together that you can't just have with any other person. And you're lucky because Cancer is going to be very sentimental, and Cancer individuals will focus on something that makes you you, that is unique to you, and that attracts them. And it might not be something that is the typical thing, like that person has nice legs, or that person has an amazing chest, or something like that. I wasn't talking about a woman's chest, but a man's chest. Anything like that. It's more like they just focus on certain kind of like things that they find endearing with that person, and it becomes sentimental because it is only it's something that is unique to you, and therefore a Cancer person would never think that you are expendable, that you are easily replaced. And this is one of the best indicators of somebody that is less likely to cheat, who is less likely to ask for a divorce or something like that. Some people, because they have a very, I was going to say low opinion of others, but it's more like they just think people are there to be used, and when that person no longer serves them in whatever their purpose is, then they can be discarded. And that's more of a narcissistic type of person who doesn't really see the beauty in the person's soul. They just look at their body, or if it's somebody who's a gold digger, look, how much money is that person making? Oh, they're not making what they used to make, so let's discard this person. So I feel like you stand a good chance of being with somebody who's going to commit to you if they happen to be a Sun in Cancer. I put that you're both likely conservative, and I have to explain that because some people will automatically think of politics, and really it's not about that. It can be, because certain issues are going to be that are very important to somebody, maybe conservative or liberal, but when I say conservative, I mean traditional. And this means the family, this means having children, believing in marriage, believing that a monogamous relationship is important for the cohesiveness, the cohesion of society. Some of these things, I don't think that that's necessarily political. I think it's kind of like a person's mindset and their approach to life. When you have somebody who is more progressive, or who wants to do things that are completely nonconformist, and then you have a conservative person, there can be a huge rift, a huge clash, because these are diametrically opposed philosophies. So I'm talking about being on the same page, and this is part of that. You're both homebodies, and that's another important thing. People might kind of overlook that and think that that's not really a big deal, but I think that's a huge deal. I think when people enjoy hanging out at home, it means that they tend to dislike loud parties, lots of people around, and, some marriages may struggle when one person's more extroverted than the other, or who needs to be out and about more than the other. And in this case, you're both in the same way of thinking, and so that's just one less area that you would argue about, or possibly, clash, and one person feeling guilty and feeling like they have to accommodate the other person when they really, really don't want to. This is good, and I think that you invest your energy in your home front so that you kind of solidify that and it becomes your castle. You're both good with money, and this is important because Cancer tends to be a worrywart, and one of the big things with Cancer is, what's going to happen in my future? And this can be something that you are interested in as well. You may be a good provider of money. Now, whether or not you're the kind of person who is as thrifty as the Cancer is a different story, because I know Taurus likes to have their shopping sprees. So that might be a slight bone of contention with Cancer, that you're being too free spending sometimes, or buying things that you don't need. And yet I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker as long as you are also willing to save money. Now, this is a really great combination, but what are some of the things that could possibly create problems? One of them is that Cancer is a water sign and you're an earth sign. So you tend to want your life to be very rational, and emotions get in the way of that. So you are on an even keel. And Cancer is very moody. Cancer is ruled by the moon, which is the emotional nature, and is fluctuating. So a person who has a sun or moon in Cancer can sometimes be quite different emotionally, and you may get impatient. Even though you're a very patient person, you may get impatient with their mood swings, and they may deem you insensitive because you're not feeling sorry for them or what have you. And they may even accuse you of insensitivity. The Cancer person may be too clingy. Now, you are a possessive individual, and so clinginess is not quite the same as possessiveness, but it's in the same family. Being clingy can mean when somebody is insecure, that they are looking to their partner to kind of boost their morale, do everything for them, and they're afraid of their partner leaving or, like abandoning them, so they always are holding on to them, telling them not to go, maybe wanting to do everything with them, instead of just allowing them to live their life on their own terms. And you're not, like I said, you're a very domestic type of individual, but you might have your own little routines or rituals that you don't want to give up, even if you get married to the Cancer person. And one of them may be, let's say you're a guy and you like to hang out with your buddies on Friday night after work. Is that a crime? No. And that may be the perfect time to do it, because it's, after the end of the day, and perhaps you go someplace and unwind with people from work or other people that are also off from their jobs and just chill and stuff like that. And that's just a nice little ritual that you look forward to. And yes, you may be, without your spouse, but it doesn't mean that you're trying to get rid of them, that you just have this little thing that you like to do. And everyone has a right to have their own activities. Cancer, if they are insecure, they may be looking to you to kind of, make it so that they can feel safe, or they can feel, I would say mostly safe in different forms. Like, again, if there's a fear of abandonment, that's feeling safe, being assured that you're not going to leave. So it's not quite possessiveness, although that can probably take place as well if you happen to be in the right situation where it would occur. But placing emotional demands on you can be what goes on. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you heard that sound. It just seemed like something popped and it was weird. But somebody placing emotional demands on you can make you feel resentful, like you're obligated to do something, even though they didn't, you have no connection to any of it, or you don't feel like you're responsible for another person's sense of themselves. So it's so important to really learn about ourselves so that when we're in relationships, we're not looking to the other person to define us. And Cancer, and it's not to say that all Cancers are going to do this, but if there is something like that, you may feel like you don't have any space. And even though, like I said, you can be possessive, everybody may have moments where they really want their own space and they feel like other people are trying to thwart them from having it. So it's all about knowing what your situation is and knowing what's true for you. But in any case, I hope that I have given you food for thought, Taurus. And if you'd like a private reading, most of my readings are astrology based, and I do relationship readings as well as readings for single people looking for love and just natal chart interpretations, things like that. Please check me out at rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. Take care. Bye.